Well, this year was weird, wasn't it? I can't say I was expecting a global pandemic in January, nor could I have expected the weird shift from people I respected to being insane anti-mask / anti-COVID campaigners. If I'm being completely honest though, it hasn't really affected me all that much. Outside of my cancelled trip to Gamescom and a few game delays, this year has been largely the same for me as last year was. I set out some goals at the start of the year, did the work I could to try to fulfill them, and that's it. I figured now that it's the end of the year then, it'd be good to look over the past 12 months and see what my goals were, if I met them, and then where I want to go in the future. So then, first goal, get to 100 subscribers. Well, that didn't happen, same as it didn't last year, or the year before. Honestly, this has been a consistent goal of mine for years at this point. At the very least, I did make significant progress towards it this year. Since the start of 2020, I've more than doubled my number of subscribers from around 20 to over 50. While I'm not where I'd like to be, it's definitely some good progress which I'm happy about. Second goal, post one video every day. This both happened and didn't, depending on your interpretation. I did post enough videos for one a day, more than that in fact. In total, I've posted 371 videos this past year, from gameplay videos to scripted videos and stream archives. There hasn't, however, actually been one upload a day due to a number of situations where I've had issues with uploading, usually with said stream archives. I'm still going to class this as a win though. Third, start a monthly podcast. I got halfway. It's honestly better than I was expecting, and it's actually doing better than most of the things I've made. But I would have liked it to have been more consistent. It's been hard for me to find new guests because, shocker, I don't actually know a ton of people to ask, and especially ones who do me the favour of coming on my podcast while I can't offer them a whole lot in return. Gary's helped me out a lot with this, both by coming on 4 of my 6 episodes and by making their friends listen to it, but I feel like I could have done better. My fourth goal was to have more scripted videos. This definitely happened, though not in the way I originally planned. By changing from a single Game of the Decade video and turning it into a full series, I spread a large amount of work over half the year, which was certainly good for me, but did lead to a lot less variety than I would have liked. I'm still happy with the series and the full Game of the Decade video, but it's a bit formulaic. I did make some videos that I'm particularly proud of, like the Terraria video and my video on robots, and I'd like to make more of them in the future, but they're honestly quite hard for me to make. While better than I was at the start of the year, I'm still not all that confident with my writing. Finally, the sentence videos are great, but they're so easy for me that I've actually written and recorded enough of them right now to do me up until 2023, and that number is just going to keep growing. Speaking of, actually. Fifth goal, finish one game a week. Again, this is another one which I both kind of did and kind of didn't do. I didn't finish a game every week this year, but I did finish more games than there are weeks in the year. It's definitely a win, either way you look at it. I finished a wide variety of games too, from FPS games to racing games to visual novels and all sorts of things in between, spanning decades of games on many various platforms. One thing I would have liked to do is either finish more games I started, or have determined faster which games were really worth my time. For example, Verlet Swing. I enjoyed that at first, and then really started to not like it, but I continued because I was near the end. Eventually I got to the last level, and it's just too hard for me. I'm never going to finish it. And because of that, it feels like I wasted a ton of time on it, which I could have used on something else. No matter what though, I'm happy with this one. My sixth goal was consistent streams. I did almost as many as I wanted to do, which is good, and the ones I dropped were for good reasons. I'm never going to force a stream when I'm unwell or something, so I don't feel bad about how this went. I certainly would have liked to get to affiliate or partner this year, but I increased my number of streams and doubled my number of followers at the very least, and I had some cool moments with people in chat, particularly during the Evoland stream, so overall it's pretty good. And now for my final goal, release more games. Well, this was not only a complete catastrophe, it's actually the only goal in which I've regressed. I didn't just not release a game this year, 2 games I've already released have become unavailable due to the Google Play Store's guidelines, and I'm unsure if I'll even be able to fix it. This one really upsets me, to be honest. Believe it or not, I don't make videos and stream and all this because I like to jerk off to video games or something. I do it because, for one, I enjoy it, but more importantly, I believe playing a wide variety of games is a good way of building skills as a developer. Skills that I am clearly not using right now. I did start multiple projects this year, from just basic frameworks to full GDDs and prototypes, but nothing stuck. Most of the games I got particularly passionate about were way greater in scope than I could reasonably handle alone, or were plagued with various development issues from the start. As for things that happened that I wasn't expecting, people started supporting me on Patreon. That was pretty neat. I've had one for ages, but it was mostly just because I wanted to make sure I had the name. I only even launched it to show Kaiser, rest in peace, how easy it was to set up. Since then I've gained 6 patrons, currently for about $16 a month in total. That's a lot more than I ever expected to get, and I'm deeply grateful for all of it. Now then, where do we go from here? Not gonna lie, I do often think about stopping. I don't want to, but I worry at times that I'm ultimately wasting my time at something that I just might not be very good at. Maybe I should just quit and get a job at Tesco stocking shelves and crying myself to sleep at night as I live a life which is financially sound but emotionally unfulfilling. That might be the better long-term decision, and might even be something I have to do eventually. Obviously, what I'm going to do then is start a new YouTube channel. From what I can tell at least, one of the main things holding me back is the gameplay videos. People just don't watch them. People not watching them stops YouTube recommending my scripted videos, so even if they do well right off the bat, as soon as a half hour goes up, performance tanks. I could stop making them, but I just don't want to. I like making them. So what I've done instead is start a new channel, Holden's Game Archive, which I've linked in the description. From tomorrow onwards, all of my half-hour videos and extravaganza VODs will go up there instead of on my main channel. My main channel will then just be for scripted videos, podcasts, or the random meme videos I post every now and again. I'm not going to move my old videos just because there's so many of them, but I will be putting them all in playlists on the new channel. I'm hoping that doing this can free me up to experiment a little bit more, maybe with some more videos of various different types. One other thing is that I have reached my current Patreon goal for another LP, which I'll be starting on the new channel in January. Now then, as for future goals, most of them are just going to be the same as this year's goals again. Get to 100 subs, get to affiliate on Twitch, more episodes of the podcasts, all that stuff. As for a new goal though, that'd revolve around my Patreon. I would like to get more patrons, obviously, but I'd more like to get my current patrons involved, to be honest, at least as much as they'd like to be. More suggestions or voting on ideas I have, as well as more rewards for those that support me. Physical rewards would be cool. I've been looking at getting stickers done just because I think they'd be neat. Other than that, my last goal is to actually release at least one more game this year. I really miss making games, but making them alone now is much harder, especially coupled with my distaste for pre-made assets. The only parts of a game I don't personally make now are the music, which I usually find some royalty-free music to use, and the fonts, and even then I've learned to make my own font now, so I might use those in the future. Needless to say, it's a lot of work, and with my well-known short attention span for projects, it's hard to get a decent-sized game out in a time frame I'm comfortable with. What I'm going to have to do is either learn new efficiencies for my workflow, or find people to work with. I don't know which it will be right now, but I will release at least one game in 2021. So yeah, keep doing what I'm doing, but expand a little, try to build my Patreon some more, and actually release some damn games. The rough plan right now is to do a small amount of work on each task each day, rather than blocking out entire days to each, just because that will keep my attention span a bit better, I expect. That being said, I'll change my plans as and when I feel like it, depending on how things are going. Really though, this isn't going to affect any of you in any way. Either way, I'll meet the goals I can actively affect, and do my best to reach the ones that rely on outside help. Finally, I just wanted to say thanks. Thanks to everyone who's watched a video this year, or subscribed, or joined me on my Twitch, or helped me with a video, and especially to those who donate to my Patreon. All I hope for is that people can enjoy the things I make, no matter what they are, and so I really appreciate any support that you give me. Thanks for sticking around this year, thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you all again next year. Special thanks to my patrons Heaven Over Hell, Justin Wood, Hobbs, Kuku Vegeta, Gunrunner, and Water.